Hey Johnny, come to the bonfire next week. Awesome. Johnny was invited to one of the popular kids' bonfires, and this was a big moment for him. He was hyped. He decided he wanted to be the bonfire guitar guy. You know, the guy that would sit by the fire and play songs and everyone tells him how cool he is. So he buys a guitar with money from his first job. He spends that entire week practicing. Okay. Huh. Not too bad. They're gonna love this. Fingers shredding, watching tutorials. He's pretty decent. Kind of a natural. And finally, it's the big bonfire night. Like 20 kids there. They're all sitting around. Johnny brought his guitar. He sees his opportunity. Hey, you guys mind if I play a song for you? All right, man. Yeah, go for it. Okay, Johnny. Yeah, play us a song. So he starts playing, and he's actually killing it. Whoa, he's pretty good. Yeah, he is. People are impressed. Then he gets a little too confident. He starts going a little crazier. Fully dramatic rock star mode when all of a sudden, snap! One of the strings breaks and flies up and whips him right in the eye. And in a pure moment of panic, he just throws the guitar off him. Everyone goes silent. Johnny gets his composure. He realizes there's way too many people here for him to be freaking out. He's gonna look like a loser. But when he opens his eyes, he realizes he threw his guitar into the bonfire. And now the guitar is burning like firewood. No one said a word for about 30 minutes. They just sat around that fire warming themselves up with Johnny's guitar he bought to impress everybody. He never lived that down, and he wasted $200 on that guitar. That's nuts. He was a kid. His mom dragged him to the nearest 7-Eleven. I don't want to go. Well, that's too bad. Well, they get there. She goes in the store, but he waits outside. He then sees this older, strange-looking guy sitting against a wall. Hey, you want to see something cool? And he's a kid, so he said yes. Of course he wants to see something cool, which you should never do. The man then smiles, and then pulls off a prosthetic leg and showed this kid his leg stump. Look at this. The leg stump had a very weird smiley face drawn on it in Sharpie. The kid absolutely freaks out. That's not cool. The man then panics because I guess he had good intentions. Oh, no, wait, look, it's actually cool, look. The kid's now ugly crying. The mom runs out of the store. What's going on? His leg. The man's embarrassed. The mom's freaking out at him. I don't know why he showed the kid his leg stump anyway, but she went home with her kid. And years later, when he sees a 7-Eleven, he freaks out a little bit still. This bully got smoked. So there's this kid named Mateo. He's super nice, he's quiet, and he always walks around in these old beat-up New Balance shoes. And then there's Jackson, super loudmouth, and he wears these $600 limited edition Nikes that everyone compliments. Hey, yo, check the drip. Nice shoes, Jackson. Thanks. Now, normally, Mateo ignores Jackson because Jackson's constantly making fun of Mateo's shoes. But one day in gym, Mateo had enough. Jackson was like, bro, you're still wearing those nasty-ass crusty shoes? You're probably super poor, you freaking idiot. Everyone laughs. Mateo doesn't. Because here's the secret. Mateo is a walking sneaker encyclopedia. He can spot a pair of fake sneakers from a mile away. And nobody knew this about him. And Jackson, those $600 shoes, Mateo's known for months that those are fake. And he's kept quiet because he's a nice guy. Until now. When the class is doing laps around the gym, Mateo sneaks out and heads to the locker room. He opens Jackson's locker because, of course, he never locks it. And he walks out to the gym floor holding the shoes like evidence. Everybody, yo, dude, those are my shoes. Since y'all want to talk about my shoes, let's talk about Jackson's shoes. He pulls out his phone and he begins comparing pictures of fake shoes to the ones that Jackson has, and they line up. So this is a fake. Look at Jackson's. See that stitching? That's fake. Look at the logo. It's completely off. It's in the wrong font. Look at the sole of the shoe. Completely discolored. These are only worth $25. Everyone's like, what? Dude? So you're a frickin' fraud then, huh, Jackson? No, I mean, yes. I mean, no. Bro, you can't clown people for their shoes when you're wearing frickin' replicas. I paid more for my New Balances than you did for those fakes. And from then on, nobody made fun of Mateo's shoes ever again. Man, yeah, legend. I want to be a bird when I grow up. She was in first grade and she really wanted to be a bird when she grew up. She thought about it every single day. Well, one morning during lunch at school, she noticed these red bumps on her arms and her neck. And she whispers to herself, it's happening, it's happening. She thought her transformation to a bird was happening right then and there, and she was sitting down preparing for feathers to pop out of her skin. She then freaks out and grabs the nearest teacher. Mrs. Johnson? Sweetheart, What is wrong? I'm just a kid. I don't want to become a bird yet. What? The teacher had no idea what that meant. I have no idea what that means. The nurse gets called. Mom gets called. Turns out she was allergic to something she ate during lunch. And it was pretty bad. She had to be rushed to the hospital. That's crazy. This stepmom is evil. This happened when this kid was around 11 years old. You see, his dad had remarried a few years earlier. And things at home were weird, but he was trying to make it work. One day his stepmom goes, "Come on, buddy, let's get some ice cream." And he's like, "All right." To him, this feels nice. Maybe they're gonna bond. Maybe she's finally warming up to him. So they go get cones. They sit down inside the shop. He's eating his ice cream, thinking it's a normal day. She then sets her ice cream down, looks him in the face, and says, "I think it's best if you go live with your mom full time." He's confused. But before he can answer, she says this, "Nobody in our house loves you." The dude said he just sat there frozen. She keeps going. "You take your dad's money. You smell. You ruin everything, and you make him choose you over me." She's saying this to an 11-year-old inside of an ice cream shop. Then when she's done laying into him, she stands up, walks out, gets in the car, and leaves him there at the ice cream shop crying. He said that moment changed him forever. No normal adult says that to a child. That woman is evil. The principal's toupee gets stolen during school. And within minutes, everybody knows, and everybody's joking about it. Dude, Mr. Killman looks so dumb. Kids were whispering in the hallways, even teachers were trying not to laugh. And whenever he walks down the hallway, people pull their phones out to record him. He's humiliated. He's trying to act normal, but he's falling apart like a sad little puppy. And for a second, you almost feel bad for him. But then you remember, yesterday he called you into his office. He thought you were involved in a fight that you weren't involved in. So you're in there, and he's just going in. Now, don't you lie to me. I know you were involved in this. You're a horrible student. I knew the second that you got here, you were gonna cause trouble. And I bet your grades suck, don't they? Let's look them up. You know what? I'm not gonna look them up. I'm just gonna send you home to your horrible mom. You know, she was in my class when I taught here years ago, and she was horrible then too. Get out of here. Pretty brutal. And here's one more thing. You know exactly where the toupee is because you saw the kid that stole it. He secretly hid it behind the trophy case. Nobody else knew. And that kid is definitely not coming forward, so now it's only you. You could grab it, hand it back to him, be the bigger man, and maybe the principal will treat you differently, or you could destroy the toupee and let him be humiliated for the rest of the day. What would you do? Those kids start a lemonade stand to make some extra cash, but Dax was playing a much darker game. He opened a barber shop in his garage, and even though his fades were terrible, every kid was lining up for a $5 buzz cut. Step up, who's next? It was like the social event of the summer. Everybody was hanging out, listening to music, laughing at how bad the haircuts were. Bro, you look goofy. What? But Miles noticed something weird. After every haircut, Dax was picking up some of the hair and putting it in a Ziploc bag. Once the day was over, Dax had cut like 15 people's hair. Miles stuck around and asked him, "Bro, why were you putting your hair in bags? Hey, check this out." He brought him to a shelf, and on that shelf was hundreds of Ziploc bags. Each of them had hair in it, and each of them were labeled. This is Miles from August 12th. This one is Cooper from July 4th. Look at all these. I had the genetic blueprint of the entire 8th grade right here, labeled and dated. Miles just laughed. "Bro, you're weird." But Dax leaned in. "Everybody thinks I'm a bad barber." Which is true, but they don't realize I got a much bigger plan. Next time someone does me dirty, steals my seat at lunch, makes fun of me, I'm gonna find a crime scene anywhere, and I'm gonna drop their hair right in the middle of it. What? Let's say Miles calls me a loser. Well, I hear sirens. I follow the sirens. A crime scene. There was a murder. Miles goes right on the floor. The police. Whose hair is this? They go to the computer. It's Miles. Miles goes to prison for murder. Bro, that is so messed up. And it was. And obviously, that really wouldn't work. But Miles made sure to stay Dax's friend. Just in case. You would hate for some of his hair to end up at a crime scene. Nothing is worse than being grounded in the last week of summer. Ryan's entire friend group had been together since kindergarten. But tomorrow, more than half of them were going to a different high school. So they were going to be split up. And this night was their last hurrah. It was the goodbye. But Ryan's mom didn't care about this. She cared that Ryan forgot to take the trash out on Wednesday. I don't care if it's an end of an era, Ryan. You show lack of responsibility. You are not going to that bonfire. The bonfire was the event, across town at one of the buddies' houses. So that night, Ryan sat at his window, watching the group chat blow up with pictures of s'mores, the bonfire, smiling and laughing faces. It was the night his childhood was ending. He thought it was over, until he hears people talking outside of his house. What? He looks out and he sees Cam and his entire group of friends pulling lawn chairs out of Cam's dad's truck. All right, guys, grab them all. I got mine. Yeah, me too. They set up a portable grill in Ryan's driveway. They all sat around it, and they began roasting marshmallows.
What are you guys doing?
If you can't come to the fire, we're bringing the fire to you. So Ryan goes down there, and he joins them. Not long after, his mom comes out. She's angry. But just as she's about to snap, a minivan pulls up, and one of the kids' parents comes out. They're not there to pick up the kid. They're there to join. Oh, hey, Carla. Steven said that you were having a bonfire in the driveway. We're here to join you. So, to not look like a horrible mother, she just said, yeah, grab a seat. I'll go get some drinks for us. And just like that, 10 kids, 6 parents, and a golden retriever all hanging out in her driveway. And she realized she wasn't just about to be a strict mom. She was about to be the person that ruined these kids' summer. The last one they'll get like this. The night ended, the kids said their goodbyes, they went their separate ways. And that just proves it. When the group is strong enough, not even the grounding of the century could stop the party. It's beautiful. Every school had a dead zone, a room in the basement or a locked corner of the gym where chairs and desks go to die. Most people see a pile of trash, but to Mr. Henderson, it was a gold mine. The school budget for furniture was pretty much zero. If a chair leg snapped or the top of a desk cracked, it wasn't getting replaced. So for a decade, the chair graveyard grew. They see a mess, but I see a spare heart for the chair in room 203. Mr. Henderson didn't just guard the room. He was pretty much a furniture surgeon. He had a specific system. When one chair broke, he knew which piece to grab from the graveyard. He was swapping around parts like he was Frankenstein. See, this one can be saved, but this one's too far gone. Except that leg is looking pretty nice. I'll take this and I'll put it here. It's fixed. Well, the legend started when a group of 10th graders tried to steal a few chairs. So they go into this graveyard. Quick, grab one. So they tried to grab a few chairs, but this is when it happened. They pulled out one chair and the entire mountain collapsed right onto them. And Mr. Henderson was in the corner of the room watching. Well, boys. Trying to steal my stash? He obviously helped them up and gave them a few band-aids for their scrapes. And the punishment for breaking into the room and trying to steal the chairs, they had to reorganize it and stack everything back up perfectly. You gotta love Mr. Henderson. Here's what happens when you ban food delivery at school. One Friday afternoon, the school sends out an email. DoorDash and Uber Eats and all delivery apps are banned. And they did this because they wanted the students to spend money in the cafeteria, like $7 for a piece of pizza. Well, Monday morning, this kid named Tyler realizes he has a free period right before lunch, and he also has a car. Vroom vroom. So, right before his free period, he tells some people, and he begins taking orders. Okay, I got 5 people for McDonald's, I got 3 people for Wendy's, and I got 7 people for Taco Bell. So during his free period, he would take all the orders and he would go and get all this food. And when he had the people give him money, he always made sure they gave him a bit more than the order actually cost. So he was making profit. By the end of the week, he had done 50 orders. He would get the food during his free period, and during lunch, he would just pass it out. Be discreet. He would put all the food in regular brown paper bags before he brought them to the customers, so the school didn't see the actual fast food bags. Genius. And the cafeteria line began getting smaller and smaller every day, while this kid's orders began getting bigger and bigger. It got to the point where he couldn't accommodate all these people. What do you mean you can't take my order? I've got like 30 people to feed today. The school tries to shut this down, but the kid was allowed to leave during his food period. And he was basically just sharing the food with other students, so they couldn't. What they had to do was lower the prices of cafeteria food. And then this kid's business began to dwindle, but it still kept going, because outside food was still way better than school food. Gotta respect the hustle. It's lunch. One group goes to sit down at their normal spot, but another group's already sitting there. This is our table. We've been sitting here all week. Nobody moves. It's a standoff. That's when somebody from one of the groups says, hey guys, why don't we all just share the table? So they all cram into this one table. Awkward small talk at first. Then somebody from group A comments, yo, aren't you that guy that cried during the fire drill? It was one time, dude, the alarm was loud. Group A starts laughing. Well, group B fires back. Well, didn't you fail the easiest history test last semester? At least I didn't pee my pants during prom. Now it's on. Insults are flying. Old drama resurfacing. One kid slaps another guy. A teacher walks over. Hey, what's going on here? Both groups go silent. Nothing, we're just bonding. Yeah, sure you are. The teacher walks away. For the rest of the lunch, they sit there silent. But the next day, they both sat at that table again, and instead of insults, they were actually telling stories and laughing. So, I don't know. I think they all became friends. Everybody liked this one guy. Yo, it's like everybody. He was popular, funny, and he was always the center of every single party. So one night, there's this big party at somebody's house, and everybody's there. It's packed, there's music going, people chilling. Yo, this is a killer party, Johnny. Hey, thanks, man. I'm just honored that you're here. But you see, not everybody liked that kid. I hated him. So the kid that did not like him was talking to his friend. I just don't like the guy. Yeah, I don't like him that much anymore either. Dude, I'm in a group chat with him, and look what he's been saying. You see, he gets shown this group chat, and the popular kid is in this group chat talking trash about everybody, even his friends, even the girls he's currently hanging out with at the party. Hey, screenshot these and send me them. Okay. Don't say it was me. So he gets the screenshot, and then he plugs his phone into the HDMI port of the TVs in the living room of this party, and he pulls up all the screenshots. He turns off the music. Everybody, look! And he has these screenshots of all the horrible stuff he said right there on the TV. Wait, what? No, that's not me. People are mad. No, guys, they're jokes. I'm just joking in these. But it's too late. He had fallen from grace and he was shoved out of that party really quick. The next day he was at school, he went from popular to loser really quick. Hey, that's karma. A crazy private school rule. So this private school in a small town had this rule. Nobody's allowed to have curly hair on school grounds. Which, like, what do you mean? But this is serious. One day, this new kid shows up at this school. It's his first day. And you guessed it, he has curly hair. Hey, I'm Corey. Oh, Corey, come with me. The principal takes Corey to her office. She pulls out a hair straightener from her desk, and she begins straightening Corey's hair. When I'm done with you, this hair will be straight. 10 minutes later, Corey leaves the office with a completely different hairstyle. He was incredibly confused and sad. He told his parents, and his parents were ticked off. They complained and complained and complained. But for some reason, this small town, this small school, had a lot of connections, so the rule never changed. Curly hair, not allowed. And that is completely messed up. They're going on a family trip, and their flight is at 5 in the morning. That's so early, Dad. It's just for 3 days. Pack your backpack. You'll be fine. Backpack. He nods. He packs his backpack. His parents don't check it. They assume he's got it. We'll fast forward to the next morning. They're standing in the security line. Shoes off, laptops out. The dad's stressing. I'm stressing. The kid steps up to put his backpack in the conveyor belt, and he tells the security guy, there's a surprise in there. The guy's like, excuse me? There's a surprise in there for everybody. Hey, yo, what? At this point, the security guard's like, yo, what the heck does this kid have in his backpack? They pull the kid to the side. They pull the backpack away. The mom is like, oh my God, what did you pack in there? You'll see. The security guard unzips the backpack. His face changes. Son, what did you pack? You, come here. Okay. What the heck is this? Inside the backpack was dozens and dozens of rubber duckies. Tiny, bright yellow, each one wearing a different outfit. Sir, ma'am, your child packed about 200 rubber ducks. You can have one. So can your friend. Everybody can have one. Everybody around starts laughing, and the kid passes out these rubber duckies to as many people as he can. And honestly, that is super wholesome. There was this kid in middle school who was so fast at taking tests. He would always finish before everybody else. Done. Math test, first one done. History quiz, sped through it. Well, one day it was a Scantron test, and he finishes it in less than 10 minutes. It then gets graded, and the teacher comes over. Hey, you, nobody finishes a 60-question test in under 10 minutes. You cheated. I did not. The class is quiet. The two of them argue for a long time. The principal gets involved, and finally, fine, you know what? You stay after school, we're taking this test. Just you, me, and the principal in the same room. And what she does is she switches the answers on the Scantron, so it's different now. Well, after school, he sits down, he gets a different version of this test, and he goes. In 7 minutes, he's done. Done. Grades it on the spot. Another 100%. But this isn't possible. Mrs. Johnson, I think he's just really smart. You're good to go home, buddy. The teacher doesn't even apologize, but she never accused him of stuff ever again. And even though she saw it with her own eyes, for the rest of the year, she still never fully trusted him. He's just a genius. Every kid at this one school got a Chromebook. It was for homework, and they were allowed to take it home. Well, this one kid's mom wanted to punish her kids one day, so she took away the Chromebook so they wouldn't have access to the internet. Mom, I need the Chromebook. I don't care. I'm locking it up until your behavior improves. Okay, well, now, naturally, this kid's grades begin to sink because he doesn't have the Chromebook or the internet to do his homework every night. So the mom gets mad again. Your grades are absolutely horrible. Mom, you took the computer. I don't want to hear it. So the mom installs locks on this kid's bedroom door. And it wasn't like a cheap lock, it was a fingerprint lock. So if he wanted to sleep, he had to ask for permission. The mom also changed the house locks as well to only open for her fingerprint. So someday he would get home from school and he would have to wait outside. This is horrible. I hate my life. He explained to his teachers what was going on at home, and they tried calling the mom and talking some sense into her, but the mom always said, I know better than the school, I know better than you teachers, I know better than anyone, okay? This went on from when he was 14 to 18 years old. At 18, he moved out of the house immediately. And now the mom, of course, is like, hi, it's your mom. Why don't you come see me anymore? You never visit. He never visits. I wonder why. There was this kid named Silas who hadn't spoken since the 6th grade. Silas went 3 years without making a sound, until he ended up in Mr. Garrett's algebra class. I'm Mr. Garrett. Now, Mr. Garrett was a notorious power trip, loved picking on kids for no reason. Well, that particular day, he was really laying into this kid named Leo. Well, are you stupid, Leo? I asked you for the answer 10 minutes ago. Stand up. Sit down. Now, Leo was a freshman, and he had a stutter. And on that day, he was clearly on the verge of a full-blown panic attack. The teacher was being ruthless. The class was silent as well. They were like, this is super uncomfortable. The teacher's still laying into him. How did you even get through middle school? You are the dumbest student I've had in years. Well, that's when the class heard a scrape, like someone's chair being pushed out. It's Silas. He's standing up now. Silas, sit back down. This does not involve you. Silas didn't sit down. He walked right to the front of the room. He stood between the teacher and the kid, and he spoke for the first time in 3 years. He's not the one who's stupid, Mr. Garrett. A good teacher doesn't need to bully a 15-year-old to feel powerful. So there's something weird about you. Mr. Garrett was so stunned because this kid hadn't spoken all year that he just sat down, stunned in his seat. Silas never spoke at school again for the rest of the year. He didn't have to, because everyone already knew.
Sleep over at his friend's house, they're chilling in his friend's bedroom. Come here. Oh, man, you win again. Well, this kid turns his head for a second, and he sees his friend's grandma standing in the doorway just staring at him. At first, he's like, okay, this guy's grandma's pretty weird, but I'm not gonna say anything. A little while later, this kid goes down to the kitchen to grab a drink. He gets in, opens the fridge, he feels that weird feeling that someone's watching him, then he closes the fridge, and the grandma's right there. It's like she appeared out of nowhere. He heads back upstairs to hang out with his friend, and they close the door this time. His friend says, hey, yo, my dad's gonna run me to the store real quick to buy something for school tomorrow. You good here? Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm tired. I'm probably just gonna, take a nap here, close my eyes. All right, I'll be back in a second. Kid closes his eyes, and he's just dozing off for a little bit. That's when he feels the mattress shift. He opens his eyes. Oh. The grandma's sitting on the edge of the bed with her fingers crossed, looking at him politely. Hello, I'm Grandma. I am Grandma. Hi, Grandma. Hi. I'm gonna get a cookie. You want one? Sure. Okay. Shh. Don't tell the family. And she goes away. She never comes back with the cookie, but his friend returns. What's up, bro? Yo, bro, what's up with your grandma, man? She's like stalking me. Oh, she just does that, man. She likes to know where everybody is at all times. I think she was watching me sleep. Oh, well, you're lucky. How am I lucky? After that night, he never sleeps over there ever again.
There was a school in Florida that tried to monetize the bathroom. It's so messed up. They gave every student 3 restroom credits a month. And if you ran out, each additional restroom credit was $5 each. This is insane. The principal called it time management training, which didn't make any sense. It's more like a human rights violation. Well, that's when a student named Marcus, what's up, realized that the school just created the most valuable currency on campus. Okay, I got 2 credits left. I'll trade them for your pre-calc answers and your lunch. Okay, cool, yeah, deal. Marcus became this bladder broker of sorts. Hey bro, you never pee, right? No, just once before school and once at night. I'll buy your credits off you. He would either trade these credits or sell them to students who were having an emergency for a massive markup. Now the crazy part is, he began trading, buying, and selling these credits very obviously in front of teachers in the hallway, because his plan was to get caught. So when the principal did catch on, Marcus, I know what you're doing. Oh, you do you? You cannot be trading, buying, or selling these bathroom credits. Well, what are you gonna do about it, huh? Oh, well, you're gonna get in big trouble. No, you're not, because listen up. You got a few options here. You can punish me, but then I'll go to the school board, tell them that you're charging students $5 to use the bathroom. Or you can let me continue and do nothing about it. Or your last and honestly best option, get rid of the credit system. It's a human rights violation, you frickin' idiot. Out of my office now. By the next morning, the bathroom credit system was gone. And honestly, it was all thanks to Marcus. After class one day, a teacher tells him, tomorrow I need you to come to my office hours. Oh, like right after school? Yes. And he's actually excited. At home, he tells his mom, I got a thing for class tomorrow after school. He tells her it's office hours, and he thinks it's a party. Ooh, office hours, that sounds fun. Let's go to Costco, we'll have you get some cookies to bring. So they go to Costco, she buys some cookies, chips, some plates. Next day after school, he's walking down the hallway with a plastic bag full of these snacks, and he's excited. He knocks on the teacher's door, smiling, and he goes in. I didn't know how many people were coming, so I brought extra. What? She looks at the food, looks at him. What are you talking about? Office hours. She closes the door quietly and says, we're here to talk about your failing grade. It's not a party? No. He sits down, defeated. He talks to the teacher and they have a plan to fix his failing grade. And as he's about to leave, all right, well, thanks. I guess I should go do my homework. Wait, I can't let you waste all the food. Let's bring out the cookies and the chips. Let's have a little party, just us two. Okay. And for the next 15 minutes, they sat there and ate cookies and chips and just chatted like two human beings. And then he went on his way. Hey, actually, that's a good teacher. She's on her first date at this guy's place, and he's cooking dinner. What's for dinner? Food. Now his place has this rustic cabin vibe. Wooden floors, dim lights. There's a weird smell that she noticed, but she thinks it's just an old house. I'm noticing a weird smell. It's probably because it's an old house. Well, at that moment, this guy's dog walks into the room and just unloads a 30-second pee right in the middle of the floor. She's trying to get his attention. Stop. No, your dog, he's peeing. He doesn't turn around, he just says, oh yeah, he does that sometimes. Well, then she asks if there's a towel she can help him clean up the pee. Since you're cooking, I can clean it up. But he says this, nah, you can just leave it. I'll spray some Febreze on it later, let it dry by itself. And that's when it hits her. The smell wasn't the cabin. That soft spot on the floor wasn't just old wood. It was the dog's bathroom. And dogs sometimes pee inside, but he never cleaned his dog's pee up. He just put Febreze on it. She politely sat there and ate dinner. Then she leaves and never texts him ever again. That's nasty. This is nuts. So one day, this kid slapped another student with a ruler. Hey, Billy. Everybody laughs. Even he did. Nobody gets in trouble. Well, for some reason, witnessing this kid slap another kid with a ruler ignited something in them. Because the next day, tons of kids came to school with their own rulers. Of all different kinds. Wood ones, metal ones, plastic ones. And just like that, the hallways turn into medieval combat zones. My turn! Mr. Kevin, no! Milk. School staff started confiscating rulers from everybody, but there was so many kids with rulers, it was very hard to do so. And just like that, another ban. The school banned rulers. If anybody was caught with a ruler, it was taken and they would get a detention. If they were caught 3 times with a ruler, they would get suspended. Now you might be asking, hey, Elliot, what about the classes where rulers are required, like geometry or something? Well, those teachers would pass the rulers out at the beginning of class and collect them at the end. But still, these kids must have been obsessed with rulers, because that sounds crazy.
It's a sleepover at his friend's house. They're sitting down talking when somebody mentions a microwave. I almost microwaved my fork. That would have been crazy. Why would that be crazy? Everyone's like, you can't microwave metal, man. You didn't know that? No, and I've never tried. They explain to him that it's bad to microwave metal, like fire hazard bad. Well, they all go to sleep, and this kid's laying there. He can't stop thinking about it. Metal, microwave. Microwave, metal, microwave, metal. Metal, microwave, metal. He just can't let it go. Staring at the ceiling, he decides, I need to find out for myself. So he goes into the kitchen of his friend's house, opens the silverware drawer, grabs a handful of forks, knives, and spoons, puts it in the microwave, and presses start. For the first 3 seconds, nothing happens. But then, crackling, sparks, a flash bright as the sun, and then flames. The microwave is now fully engulfed in flames, and the cabinets start on fire. Fire alarms are going off, everybody in the house wakes up and they go outside. The fire trucks arrive and they're putting this fire out. Luckily, it's not too bad. The kitchen was pretty messed up though, but the entire neighborhood was outside in their pajamas watching this thing happen. And obviously, they found out who did it. Bro, we just told you about metal in the microwave. I had to see it. And that, my friends, is nuts.
কালকে সারা রাত তোমার আমি কল দিচ্ছি সারা রাত তাহলে আপনি শুনুন আপনার ভালোবাসার মানুষের অতীত বর্তমান পাগল কোন একদম ঠিক হয় ওনার ব্যথা লাগে নাই
ব্যথা তো বেশি
তুই নিয়ে ব্যথা লাগছে না
বন্ধু তুই চিন্তা করিস না রে ভাবির মন ঠিকই গলে যাবে ভাবির মন তো গলবে কিন্তু আরে না দোস নম্বর না গাড়ি উড়া গাড়িগুলো তো
হঠাৎ আমার বাসার নিচে কোনো জমি দরকার?
তুমি কি আজকে কোচিং এ যাও নাই? সুন্দর মতো যাবি, ভাবির নামটা জিজ্ঞাসি। আর শোন, ভালো মতো কথা কবে, ভাবি লাগে। খালি থাপড় আর চাপাবাজি, থাপড় আর চাপাবাজি, এই বাদে আর কিছু পারছস?
বুকিং?
বুকিং মানে বুকিং, তুমি আমার আমি তোমার, বুকিং দিয়ে দিছি ফাইনাল।
আমাকে বুকিং দিছে মানে আমাকে কে বুকিং দিছে দোস্ত?
তোর যে আশিক আছে না, এখন তো আমার পিছনে লাগছে।
আমার তো অনেক ভয় লাগতেছে দোস্ত। এই যে আস্তে আস্তে সব মানুষ জানবে, তারপর আমার ফ্যামিলিকেও জানাই দিবে। আর আমার
এন্ড বেস্ট অফ লাক ফর ডক্টরশিপ। আমি দোয়া করি তুমি যেন একজন ভালো ডক্টর হও।
আমার কাছে জিনের বাচ্চার নাম্বার আছে। জিনের বাচ্চা।
করতে চাস নাকি ইটিস পিটিস করতে চাস? বদতমিজ।
হ্যালো বন্ধু,
আমার রোদে দিছস?
এই তো দিছি তো।
ঠিক মতো রোদে দিছস?
কি শুনতে চান? আমি আপনাকে ভালোবাসি।
আমার নেক্সট আপকামিং 5টা প্রজেক্টের ফুটেজ ছিল এই ফোনটাতে। তোমরা এটা কেন করছো এই ফোনটার মধ্যে? ফোনটার মধ্যে আমার কত জরুরি জরুরি ফুটেজ ছিল আমার।
শোন, হোয়াট দ্য ফাক? এই আপনি কে এসব কি করছেন? আপনি দেখতে মানুষের মতো আর ভূতের মাস্ক পরে ভয় দেখানো। হ্যাঁ, আমি কখনো তাকে দেখিনি, চিনিও না ইভেন। এই কে আপনি? হোয়াট দ্য হেল? আপনি জান?
হু আর ইউ? ওয়েট, বলছি একটা সেকেন্ড।
ম্যাক্স ভাই, স্যার নিজেও তো আপনার খুব ফ্যান দেখলাম ভাই। একটা যদি সুযোগ দেন, একটা সেলফি তুলে রাখ।
নো 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 নো
69/2 শঙ্কর গলিটা কোন দিকে?
শঙ্কর গলিতে আপনি পার্কের মধ্যে পাবেন না।
আচ্ছা পার্ক তো বুঝলাম, 3 নাম্বার গেটটা কোন দিকে পার্কের?
পার্কের 3 নম্বর গেট তো ওইদিকে। তোমার জিনিসটা ঝামেলা আছে। ঝামেলা হচ্ছে যে সব নষ্ট হয়ে যাবে। প্যারাই না।
আর শোনো, টিন্ডারে ম্যাচ হওয়া মানেই কিন্তু আই এম নট রেডি ফর হুক আপ। আজ দেখা হবে, কাল ডেট হবে, আমি এরকম মেয়ে না।
যত সব ফেক আইডি, এতদিন ফেসবুকে সব ফেক আইডি দেখতে হবে, এখন বাস্তবে ঘুরে বেড়াও। যত সব যাবেন ফাজিল কোথাকার।
বলছিলাম না যে আপনারে আমার সেলফি তুলতে চাবেন
না,
তখন তো পাত্তা দেন নাই ভাই।
স্যার আমি তো খুবই সরি স্যার, নিজে তো আপনার বড় ফ্যান। একটা সুযোগ দেন, একটা সেলফি।
ওইটা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা দেখেন তো, এখানে তো তাই লেখা না। 3 নাম্বার গেট, আবার পার্ক, আবার শঙ্কর গলি, বুঝতেছি না।
3 নম্বর গেট ওইদিকে।
আমার কাছে জিনের বাচ্চার নাম্বার আছে। জিনের বাচ্চা।
করতে চাস নাকি ইটিস পিটিস করতে চাস? বদতমিজ।
হ্যালো বন্ধু,
আমার রোদে দিছস?
এই তো দিছি তো।
ঠিক মতো রোদে দিছস?
কি শুনতে চান? আমি আপনাকে ভালোবাসি।
ভালোবাসা যে এত প্যারা, এত কষ্ট, এত জ্বালা যন্ত্রণা জানলে ভালোই বাসতাম। জিসান আর তুলির ভালোবাসার ইতিহাস তাই রক্ত লাগবে দোস্ত।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম দুলা ভাই।
আরে শালা, ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। কি খবর, কেমন আছো?
গলায় দড়ি লাগাই দিছে ভাবি।
গলায় দড়ি দিছি মানে গলায় 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 কেন রেখেছেন আমাকে? কি হয়েছে বলতো?
আর বলিস না, তোরে যে বুকিং দিছে সে তো এখন আমার পিছনে লাগছে।
দিশান, আমার দরজা লাগাই দিছে। আমার দরজা লাগাই দিছে। কই যায়? কই যা?
ফোন দিয়ে যেতেছি, তুমি ফোনই ধরো না, তোমার ফোন ধরার কোনো নামই নাই। কোনো কথা, তোমার ফোন ধরো না কেন?
এবারে এক্সামের প্রিপারেশন কিরকম তোদের? আমি তো খুবই এক্সাইটেড, কারণ আমার প্রিপারেশন খুবই ভালো।
দিশান দরজা খোল।
বস।